BPM Supreme, I'm here with the lovely, the beautiful Maya. Thank you for sitting down with us today, talking to the DJs. We appreciate you being here.
Good to be here.
How are you?
Great. And yourself?
We're doing good. We're doing good. I know the DJs, they're excited to hear from Maya. They want to know what you've been up to. We've had some DJs submit some questions as well. But one thing that I want to know is you've worked with so many different artists throughout your entire career. Who has been your favorite artist to work with?
I would say in the studio, creatively, Wyclef.
Wyclef.
Yeah, Wyclef and Jerry Wonder. I did a lot of writing with them in New York City for my second album, Fear of Flying, and they're just really talented musicians, engineers, producers, from the bass to drum patterns, and then creative writers as well. So I got the full-on experience working with Wyclef, and he's a comedian too.
I know you've had some incredible collaborations. I think some of the most impressive collaborations, you've done Ghetto Superstar, you did It's All About Me with Cisco, which was your first big single, Lady Marmalade. How is it differently coming up with the music or writing the song when you're collaborating as opposed to just your own music?
Well, it depends on what you are writing a song for. When it's a soundtrack, it's easy to be inspired by a scene in a film or the topic of the film. And if you're writing for self, it's even easier. It's therapy sometimes in R&B music. You can truly just express yourself. The structure or the way of writing really varies depending on who you're working with. Sometimes you start with a beat, or you start with a melody and lyric, or you all collectively just feed off of each other and what we like to call vibing. We'll vibe in the studio, someone will have an instrument and we'll just sing things and get on the mic, and that turns into lyrics later on, but there are all different types of processes. Yeah, no preference either.
One record that I know DJs still continuously play to this day is the Ghetto Superstar. It's an easy club record, it's recognizable. How is it being in the studio creating that song? Do you know it's going to be as big as the record became?
I was such a kid, you know, when I first stepped onto the scene, but I was called in to do a hook. I didn't know what a hook was at the time. I was in choir and I was familiar with the term chorus, you know? So I was learning as I was going and I had no clue. You know, I went in the booth and sang something and didn't hear the rest of the song. And then I was out. My dad was with me. I was like 18 years old. I had no clue. I didn't know what a soundtrack was. And ODB actually gave me the rundown later on and said, "Oh my goodness, I heard your voice." And they had all kinds of different singers on the chorus, but I chose your voice. I said, "Whoever that girl is, that's it, that's it, that's it." So he was actually the decision maker that prompted everyone to say, "Okay, well, we'll keep these vocals," because they had more established artists, you know, trying the hook out on that particular song.
I don't know how many people knew about that, but that's incredible. Yeah. What about a compilation, or what about doing a song like Lady Marmalade? How is that different? Did you know in the studio that was going to be as big as it was working with those artists?
Well, the song Lady Marmalade was Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells, and it was already a hit before we remade it. And it was difficult to clear, you know, but I had no clue. I knew the movie that it was attached to. Baz Luhrmann is a huge respected director, and I knew that the movie would be nothing less than great and spectacular. So when a song or a project is attached to a project of that caliber, there's going to be a budget and there's going to be a lot of support. So I knew it would be something. I just had no idea of the magnitude. Mm-hmm.
All right, one of our DJ members from Los Angeles, he wanted to find out, have you had any mentors throughout your career?
Early on, my dad was my inspiration, and both of my parents were actually the people that I looked up to as far as business. My mom was very business oriented, and my dad was the creator, and he sings to this day. Those were my two biggest influences. As far as mentors that sat me down, that actually didn't happen until maybe the last couple of years, and most recently Miss Patti LaBelle has been a great woman figure that I look up to, that I can call and get some great advice from, and I think that's very important for young gentlemen and ladies growing up in such a crazy ass business.
One thing that I think a lot of people might not know about you is how involved you are with your creative process. You're a singer, but you're a songwriter, but you co-produce, you're in there mixing the songs, you're in there mastering the songs. How have you learned all of these tools to be so involved creatively?
I'm a sponge, like every kid. You know, it's a playground for me. I love music. Music has always moved me and it resonated within, no matter the genre. And I've always been intrigued by processes. So I'm a little brainiac. And the first thing that I actually did with my first chunk of money was invest in equipment. So I learned how to use the Roland VS880. I was so pressed, we call it, like desperate to stack my harmonies and hear my voice and create ideas. That's the first thing, and that's what I've always been doing. Equipment, 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 because I want things to be right. No matter the budget, no matter the limited time or access, I create my own playground or my own practice facility so that I can always get better and also be free to make things better or create whenever I want. And I think every artist or every athlete or every person in any trade should always have that training facility. It's fun to me. You know, I was one of those bored kids. It's fun to play.
So what's next for Maya? I mean, we've talked about your entire career, but what's next? What's coming? DJs want to know, are there going to be some records for the DJs?
Oh yeah, I've been in the studio hardcore, and there will be another project coming soon.
Okay.
I've been in the studio, and I'm so proud of myself, but I'm really in love with this sound that I have going on. I'm going to play it for you today, exclusively. And like I said, elevation is my motto.
Thank you for sitting down, talking with me, talking to the DJs. We appreciate it, and thank you.
Thank you. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Maya, and you are now watching BPM Supreme TV.